Good evening, you're watching 7 at 7, the only news bulletin where we curate the day's top 7 stories for our viewers. Before I take you through the headlines, I want to quickly get you up to speed where India stands with its fight against COVID-19, at least numerically. Let's quickly take you across to the chart and what it looks like in terms of numbers. Our total active cases right now stand at 2,89,240. We've seen till now in terms of deaths, we've recorded 1,46,444 deaths. Our total recoveries till date have been to the tune of 96,63,382. So this is what it looks like, at least when you have to put a figure on where India stands with its fight against the virus. We're going to keep a keen eye and get you all the latest news coming in. But first up, let me take you through the headlines. It's a sordid saga, and it's come to an end after 28 long years. 28 long years for justice for Sister Abhaya, who was allegedly murdered 28 years ago by a priest and a nun because she found them in a compromising position. Today, they were found guilty by a CBI court.
Justice after 28 years. Catholic priest Father Thomas Kuttur and Sister Sefi sentenced to life for murdering Sister Abhaya in 1992. The nun was found dead in a well in St. Pius Convent in Kottayam. A CBI court also found the duo guilty of tampering with the evidence.
ഒരുപാട് ഭീഷണികളും പ്രലോഭനങ്ങളും എല്ലാം പീഡനങ്ങളും എല്ലാം അനുഭവിച്ചു. അതിനെല്ലാം അതിജീവിക്കാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞു. ഇതൊരു ദൈവത്തിൻ്റെ നിയോഗമായിട്ടാണ് നടപ്പിലാക്കിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. ജനങ്ങൾക്ക് കോടതിയോടുള്ള ഒരു ബഹുമാനം 3 പതിറ്റാണ്ട് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് കേസ് അട്ടിമറിച്ചിട്ടും കോടതിക്ക് മുമ്പിൽ എല്ലാ തെളിവുകളും വന്നു.
Sister Abhaya died when one early morning in March 1992 she had walked in on Father Kuttur and Sister Sefi and found them in a compromising position near the kitchen of their convent. The prosecution had proved in court that while the priest overpowered and gagged Sister Abhaya, the nun had used an axe to repeatedly strike her on the head. Sister Abhaya's bleeding body was dumped in a well near the church. Initially, there was no headway in the case, with the Kerala Crime Branch probe calling it a suicide. With the prestige of the church involved, there were powerful factors at play, and a CBI probe was ordered to establish the truth in the matter. Was it a suicide or was it murder? A high-ranking CBI official, Verghese P. Thomas, even quit the probe, citing pressure. A fresh team of CBI later confirmed homicide.
ചെയ്ത ഇൻവെസ്റ്റിഗേഷൻ ശുഭപര്യവസായിയായി അവസാനിച്ചതിൽ എനിക്ക് സന്തോഷമുണ്ട്. പ്രതികൾക്ക് ശിക്ഷ കിട്ടാതിരിക്കാൻ നിവർത്തിയില്ല. കേസ് വിചാരണ കുറ്റവാളിയാണെന്ന് തെളിഞ്ഞാൽ കോടതിക്ക് ശിക്ഷിക്കാതിരിക്കാൻ തരമില്ല. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെ ശിക്ഷയ്ക്ക് അർഹനാണെന്ന് കോടതിക്ക് ബോധ്യം വന്നതുകൊണ്ട് ന്യായമായ ശിക്ഷ കോടതി കൊടുത്തു എന്നുള്ളതിൽ എനിക്ക് സംതൃപ്തിയുണ്ട്.
The case dragged on for 28 years, and there were many a twist and turn before the verdict was finally delivered.
Justice delayed is justice denied. This is a very common proverb used in the judicial context of India. Having said this, the 28-year-old long legal battle in Sister Abhaya murder case will go down in the history as a benchmark of the whole judicial system in the country. Thanks to the persistence of some lawyers, some investigating agents, and also some of the judges at the lower tiers of the courts in the country. With camera representing Guraj Shekharan, Gopi Krishnan, Thiruvananthapuram for India Today.
I want to cut across right now to my colleague Gopi, who's joining us live from Thiruvananthapuram. Gopi, 28 long years. Take us through the twists and turns of this case, which saw such a long haul for justice.
Well, Priti, this whole case originated on March 27th, late night in 1992. And this was initially regarded as a case of suicide because Abhaya was found dead in the well inside the convent premises. The local police, which initially probed this case, they gave a final report that this seems to be a clear case of suicide. Later, there were actually some people, including the Action Council, which were skeptical about this police report. So they demanded a further investigation, and the crime branch, which is also another wing of the state police, they were roped in and they gave another similar report. And also after persisting pressure from these local authorities and from the people who were part of the Action Council, the then Chief Minister K. Karunakaran, the Kerala Chief Minister at that time, he actually ordered or recommended a CBI probe. Interestingly, the initial reports of the CBIs also said that this seems to be a case of suicide. So there was actually a time when the general perception or the general perception was actually getting into this tune that this could well be a suicide, because even after the investigation by the local police, the crime branch and from the CBI, it seems that there is no further evidence. And after that, there were actually multiple teams of the CBI which was involved, because the courts refused to accept this report. Now that is actually the crucial link in this whole case. The usual protocol which is being followed by the courts are that whenever an investigating agency is actually submitting a report, and when they are saying that this seems to be a case of suicide, there is no further evidence available, the courts are actually bound to accept that report. But in this case, after actually going through these reports in detail, the courts ordered that every time when they came with a report seeking that this investigation must be closed, the court ordered that they must investigate further and further. Later, at one point, later in the early 2000s, the Kerala team of CBI came in for the investigation, and it was finally that team that managed to dig deep into the case and managed to link the evidences which were available at that time. And finally, the accused, this father and this nun was arrested in 2000.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Gopi. We're going to come back to you for more updates on that story, but let's quickly shift focus to the state of Tamil Nadu and the state of politics 5 months before elections. So much said on Rajinikanth's party, enough controversy, enough talk. Finally, India Today has now accessed exclusive details on superstar Rajini's party. Details have emerged indicating a link between Rajinikanth and a party registered by the name Makkal Sevai Kachchi. MSK has been allotted the auto symbol by the EC, which Rajini fans popularly associate with. Remember, Rajini was the auto rickshaw driver in his film Manik Bhasha. Furthermore, MSK President SP James is a business partner with AJ Stalin, who is Rajini Makkal Mandiram's Tuticorin secretary. Sources also say that the address on which MSK is registered is the property allegedly owned by Stalin. Earlier, there were speculations that Makkal Sevai Kachchi is being registered for Rajini's political launch, and now these details establish it. I just want to cut across right now to my colleague Pramod, who's joining us live. Pramod, break it down for us, simplify it for us. What does it mean?
Well, it looks like several questions are being asked whether this election, 2021 election, will be a four-cornered election for the state of Tamil Nadu. We have DMK, we have AIADMK, we have MNM from Kamal Hassan. So will the fourth one be MSK, Makkal Sevai Kachchi by Rajinikanth? That's the question that's being put forward. Earlier itself, like when the Election Commission provided these symbols for various parties, we came to know that auto rickshaw symbol, even though it could be nothing for entire India, for Tamil Nadu it had a significance because this one was definitely associated with Rajinikanth, and that's the reason we started probing and found out that this actually belonged to a very lesser known party called as Makkal Sevai Kachchi, which 2 years ago was having a different name, Anithindiya Makkal Shakti Karagam. And this is where the registration comes as SP James, who is actually associated with AJ Stalin. Through Rajinikanth's team, we were able to find out that AJ Stalin is closely associated with SP James, and in fact this was earlier considered as a backup plan, which has come now to become the mainstream plan itself. However, Rajinikanth is expected to return to Chennai anytime soon. Unlike earlier, on 29th of December, he can come out anytime because his shoot has been cancelled. So it looks like within this 1 week's period, all the work and effort by team Rajinikanth and others will immediately start to go on in full gear.
Appreciate you joining us, Pramod. We're going to come back to you for more detailed focus right now to the national capital, and the impasse continues 28 days on. Well, the farmers today Harden stand once again. Farm leaders called the government's letter inviting them for talks and attempt to discredit their movement. They say they are ready for talks but will only do so if the government presents a solid proposal in writing. On Sunday, Joint Secretary of Agriculture Ministry wrote a letter to 40 farm unions asking them to deliberate over the proposal the government had sent and come up with the next date of talks. Farmers marking Kisan Divas, adamant on their demand to roll back new laws, have decided to forcibly prevent cess collection in Haryana toll plazas from 26th to 28th of December.
We urge the government not to repeat those meaningless amendments which we have already rejected, but come up with a concrete proposal in writing so that can be made an agenda and the process of negotiation can be started as soon as possible.
All right, let's move on right now, get you the very latest. Now, India is battling with the new virus strain which was found in the United Kingdom. Till now, we found no cases yet. However, there have been some positive cases which have come in from the United Kingdom and they are being investigated. While the centre has assured people there's no reason to panic, it has released a standard operating procedure for flyers. According to the new guidelines, the passengers coming from the UK should undergo the RT-PCR test. It has also stated that the positive person should be isolated in a separate quarantine unit. All the passengers coming from the UK from December 21st to 23rd would be subject to the RT-PCR test on arrival, and this has to be ensured by respective state governments. Around 22 passengers from the UK tested positive for the virus. States have stepped up surveillance.
As of now, based on our discussions, deep understanding of the data available, our discussions with scientists in UK, colleagues in WHO, and our own deep assessment, there is no cause for concern as panic.
All right, while India awaits the rollout of the vaccine next week, my colleague Polumi Saha went in and did a ground report on the kind of preparations that are on for storing the vaccine.
One of the cargo terminals at Delhi International Airport. In this specific area where I'm standing right now, I'll ask my camera person Ajay to show you around. This is where the COVID-19 vaccines, when they come in, will be stored. These are cargo facilities, temperature-controlled cargo facilities. So the temperature that I'm standing in right now is about 2 to 8 degrees. This is the temperature which will be maintained in this section. That's the cold storage which goes up to -20 degrees Celsius where the vaccine can be stored. And what we're being told is like 2 freighters worth of vaccine material and doses can in fact be stored over here. The total capacity in terms of weight stands at about 1.5 lakh metric tons, but they say, Delhi Airport authorities say, that can be expanded as well. This behind me is the green channel. Now this is an express channel of sorts inside Delhi International Airport's cargo terminal, which can ensure faster movement and delivery of the COVID-19 vaccine after it arrives on an aircraft from here. So the freighter can come here directly and go from here through this express channel towards the truck docking area. It's going to take about 40 minutes is what we've been told in order to unload it from an aircraft and then ensure that it is uploaded. In a sense, it has been put onto a truck for delivery further. What you see behind me is called a cool dolly. In simple terms, this is like a refrigeration unit which is used for transportation purposes. So when the vaccine arrives on an aircraft and it has to be moved towards the terminal building, the cargo terminal building where we're standing, it obviously cannot move in the open. It has to move in a temperature controlled environment, and a cool dolly provides that. So the container will go into the cool dolly, and the cool dolly maintains the temperature, whatever it is, of the container, and transports whatever is the consignment from the aircraft towards the terminal. We're standing in one of the temperature controlled cargo facilities right now, and I'm standing inside minus 20 degrees Celsius. That is how much the temperatures can be controlled up to they dip up to minus 20 degrees Celsius over here. And this is the coldest storage facility that the Delhi International Airport has in terms of storing cargo. So this is the temperature up until which they can store dosages of the vaccine. It starts from plus 25 degrees Celsius. It goes to minus 20 degrees Celsius. That is the temperature that me and my camera person Ajay Thakur are currently standing in.
हमारे पास स्टोरेज कैपेसिटी करीब 27 लाख वैक्सीन की है। अगर दिन में 2 राउंड हम उसको रोटेट कर पाएं, बिकॉज कोई भी कार्गो कंटेनर आएगा, उसको कार्गो फ्रेटर आएगा, उसको अनलोड करना, उसको फिर से अगर बल्क ब्रेक करना है तो बल्क ब्रेक करना, और फिर वापस उसको लोड करना, तो उसमें अगर वो 2 रोटेशन है तो दिन भर में हम 54 लाख वायल्स भी डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं।
Delhi International Airport Limited has made extensive arrangements for the vaccine for COVID-19 to be stored over here and then transported out of here from the airport where I'm standing right now. When it arrives, of course, is something that the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare will be deciding, but the ministry seems to have indicated to Delhi Airport that it could be any time in the month of January. Various technical measures which have been taken, obviously a lot has gone into it, a lot of thought has gone into it in order to ensure that as far as the vaccine is concerned, it reaches, the deliverable reaches you in the best possible condition, given that these vaccines will eventually have to be kept in very temperature controlled environments, and they're very temperature sensitive, so to say. So clearly Delhi Airport is prepared, and so have other airports as well, the major airports in India, in order to ensure that the vaccine reaches you safely and is administered to you. With camera person Ajay Thakur, Polami Saha at the Delhi International Airport for India Today.
All right, that exclusive report filed by my colleague Polami. Let's now cut across to the deteriorating air quality in the national capital. Once again, viewers, Delhi is in the severe category when it comes to the air quality index. We recorded today an air quality index of 433, which is severe. Amidst drop in temperatures, the air quality also declined. The adjoining areas even had worse air quality than 433 at 472 and 428 for Ghaziabad and Gurgaon respectively.
The speed is very slow, and also the temperature is very low, between around you can say 4 degrees centigrade, and also the humidity level is slightly higher as compared to the last 3-4 days. So all these three factors are combining together and does not allowing fast dispersal of the air, this pollutant. So air quality will is very poor, and this level will maintain for next 3 to 4 days.
Welcome back. You're watching our fact check segment where we bust certain claims masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp groups. Now, there is an image which is floating about. You might have got it as in your WhatsApp groups which suggested that Dilip Ghosh from the BJP was beaten up by Rohingyas in Bengal. Well, this image has nothing to do with 2020. It goes back all the way to 2017, and these are not Rohingyas. On that fact check, it's time for us to wrap up 7 at 7, but do stay tuned. Up next is To The Point. Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.